Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David and this is the lovely Marianka.
Hi.
Today we're going to look at fun and balanced duel decks. Now all these decks are 2-color, 60 cards, and they're self-contained, meant to be played against any of the other decks within this series.
And best of all cards used are under $1, so each deck costs an average of $11.
That's right. We're going to look today at the Boros Legion. Now this deck is red and white.
And the guild mechanic of this deck is Battalion. Whenever a creature with Battalion attacks with at least 2 other creatures, a special ability triggers.
Yeah, that's very cool. Now the play style of this deck is going to be to attack aggressively with multiple small creatures. You're going to crush your opponent with an army, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go and have a look at the creatures.
Our guild champion is Tajik, Blade of the Legion. For only 4 mana you get a 2/2 creature, which is indestructible. Whenever Tajik and at least 2 other creatures attack, Tajik gets +5/+5 until end of turn.
Yeah, Tajik is great for blocking because he's a 2/2 indestructible, so nothing really gets through. But he's really great on the offense when he gets to attack with a bunch of other creatures, because then it becomes a 7/7 indestructible creature. Nobody wants to block that.
Boros Recruit. For 1 mana you get a 1/1 creature with first strike.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very impressive because it's just 1/1, but he can kill other 1 toughness creatures without dying himself. And on top of that, you can also buff him sometimes with either enchantments or instants. People aren't expecting that, and you get a pretty nice blowout.
Okay, so we go to Loyal Pegasus. It's only 1 mana and it's 2/1. It's a 2/1 flying creature, and it can't attack or block alone.
Yeah, it may seem like a pretty big downside that you can't really attack with it alone. On the plus side is though it's got a really good power for a flyer, only being 1 mana, and on top of that you want to be attacking with a lot of creatures with this deck, so it's really not much of a downside at all.
Okay, so we go to Frenzied Goblin. It's only 1 mana and a 1/1 creature, and whenever this one attacks you may pay 1 mana. If you do, target creature can't block this turn.
Yeah, this is super handy because this deck has a lot of very small creatures, but you want to be attacking a lot. So you don't want your opponent to be blocking, and when this guy attacks, you pay a red mana, you can make sure that your opponent's biggest blocker can't block that turn. Remember, you can only do it 1 time for each time that Frenzied Goblin attacks.
We go to Boros Elite. It's 1 mana for a 1/1 creature, and whenever this one and at least 2 other creatures attack, Boros Elite gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah. So it's actually for 1 mana, you're going to get a 3/3 attacking most of the time, which is really tough to stop so early in the game.
Okay, we'll go to Daring Skyjack. It's for 2 mana, you get a 3/1 creature, and whenever this one and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gains flying until end of turn.
Yeah, 3/1 for 2 is already pretty decent. You can just use that to attack. It's not or to block. It's just a very decent guy. And on top of that, when it attacks with all his buddies, it gets flying with evasion, so it's going to be getting through most of the time.
Wojciech Halberdiers. It's 2 mana for a 3/2, and whenever this guy and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gains first strike until end of turn.
Yeah, once again, this guy's got a little bit more of toughness than the Daring Skyjack, but being able to get that first strike every time it attacks with his buddies is going to be huge.
Stun Sniper. It's 2 mana for a 1/1, and if you pay 1 mana, tap it, Stun Sniper deals 1 damage to target creature, tap that creature.
Yeah, so you can use it in 2 ways. You can either use this, actually use it in 3 ways. You can either use it to kill a 1 toughness creature, you can use it to tap a creature that would otherwise block you, so you can attack with all your guys, or you can use it before your opponent declares attacks in their turn. You can use it to tap one of their creatures and then they can't attack with that, so super versatile.
Sunhome Guildmage. It's 2 mana for a 2/2 creature, and if you pay 3 mana, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. And if you pay 4 mana, you can put a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste onto the battlefield.
Yeah, this card is going to help you out a lot. Not only 2/2 for 2 is pretty decent, you can use it to attack, to block, not too bad. On top of that, if you do have the extra mana left over, you can pump your guys, or you can put down an extra little 1/1 with haste to either help in the attack or to help trigger your battalion.
Warmind Infantry. 3 mana to 2/3 creature, and whenever this one attacks with at least two other creatures, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah, so this is mostly you're going to want this guy to be a 4/3 attacking creature, and that's going to be really tough for people to stop. So it's great for your aggressive strategies.
Fine Shino First Blade. This one is 3 mana, and you get a 2/2 creature, and whenever this one enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah,
and it has haste.
Exactly. On top of that, it has haste, so that means it's going to come in on turn 3. Hopefully, it's going to be a 4/4 creature with haste. People can't really block that effectively, so you're going to be swinging in for 4 damage to your opponent right away. And after that, it's just going to be a 2/2 that's going to help in attacking every turn to help trigger your battalion. So it's a pretty decent guy.
Sky Knight Legionnaire. It's 3 mana for a 2/2 flying haste creature.
Yeah, very simple. It comes in, turn 3, it starts attacking right away. It's got flying, so it's tough to block. Yeah, just a solid card.
So we go to my favorite card now.
Yeah.
It's Fireheart Wolf. 3 mana for a 1/1, and whenever this one attacks, each creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by 2 or more creatures.
Yeah, it is actually really handy. As we said already before, this deck wants to attack a lot, and it wants to attack with a lot of very small guys. And we don't really want people to block our small guys because they're going to die. So when Fireheart Wolf attacks, every one of our creatures needs to be blocked by at least 2 creatures, and that's going to be super tough. On top of that, should somebody destroy Fireheart Wolf, it dies, it comes back to the battlefield as a 2/2. Not bad.
Heartfire Hobgoblin. It's 3 mana for a 2/2 creature with double strike.
Yeah. Mostly it's just going to be swinging in and doing 4 points of damage because it also has the first strike, so people find it very difficult to block, and it does a lot of damage, so just very solid for an aggressive strategy.
Frontline Medic. It's 3 mana for a 3/3 creature, and whenever this one and at least 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control are indestructible this turn.
People really don't want you to have this card, because once they see this, you're going to be attacking every turn with everything, because you don't really care, because as long as Frontline Medic is attacking with the rest of your little guys, your guys are all indestructible, so you're not going to lose anybody anyway. On top of that, it's got an ability that you can sacrifice Frontline Medic, and you can counter target spell with X in its mana cost unless its controller pays 3. You might as well ignore that, it's not really going to come up much, and you don't really want to sacrifice Frontline Medic because you want to be attacking with him every turn.
Acroan Phalanx. It's 4 mana for a 3/3 creature with Vigilance, and if you pay 2 mana, or 3 mana, sorry, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah, just for 4 mana, a 3/3 with Vigilance is solid because you can use it to attack. You can also use it to block. Not bad. On top of that, if you do have the spare mana, you don't know what to do with it, you don't have any creatures you want to cast that turn, just throw 3 or 6 mana into this guy and all your guys are more powerful. Pretty sweet.
Ordrune Veteran. It's 4 mana for a 3/1, and whenever this one and at least 2 other creatures attack, they gain double strike until end of turn.
Yeah, so Ordrune Veteran gets a double strike till the end of turn, and since it's a 3/1, it swings in. Anything of toughness 3 can't really block it effectively anymore. Anything of toughness 6 will die, will trade with this guy. So swinging in, but they have to block it because otherwise they're going to take 6 damage to the face, and nobody really wants that.
Firemane Avenger. 4 mana, 3/3 flying, and whenever this one and at least 2 other creatures attack, they deal 3 damage to target creature or player and gain 3 life.
Yeah, this is my favorite card, Firemane Avenger. It's a flyer, it's 3/3 for only 4 mana. It's going to be attacking every turn, it doesn't really get blocked very easily. On top of that, you're going to be able to do 3 damage to target creature or player. Mostly you're going to be picking somebody, one of the creatures that would like to block your guys, then it dies, it can't block your guys anymore, you're gaining life. I mean, this card does it all. Wonderful.
Odric Master Tactician. It's 4 mana for a 3/4. First strike, and whenever this one and at least 3 other creatures attack, you choose which creatures block this combat and how those creatures block.
Yeah, so it's basically like Battalion, except you need 1 extra creature. Actually, now that I'm thinking, maybe this is my favorite. I don't know. They're both really good cards, but when you have Odric and you have those 3 other creatures that you're attacking, you can basically say, okay, my guys are unblockable, everything gets through. Or you can say, oh, my guys have first strike, so your guys who don't have first strike are going to block, and then you lose your guys, I don't lose my guys. It's a mess. People, if they can't stop this guy, and you have Firemane Avenger on the table, or let's say, for example, you might have Frontline Medic on the table, yeah, you're winning the game at that point.
Towering Thunderfist. It's 5 mana for a 4/4, and if you pay 1 white mana it gains vigilance until end of turn.
Pretty solid, just a big guy, nothing fancy. If you want to be blocking with him, you pay the 1 mana, otherwise you just swing in with him. Not too shabby.
Agra's Cos, Wojciech Veteran, it's 5 mana for a 3/3, and whenever this one attacks, attacking red creatures get +0, sorry, and attacking white creatures get +0/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah, to be able to give your multicolored creatures +2/+2 on the swing in, super good. This also counts for himself, so he becomes a 5/5 when he's attacking, which is really, really sweet. Yeah, you can use this in so many different ways, and mostly you're just going to be swinging in with him every single turn because this guy's so big and because it makes everybody else so big. So really solid card.
Foundry Champion, it's 6 mana for a 4/4, and whenever this one enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of creatures you control. If you pay 1 red mana, the Foundry Champion gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And if you pay 1 white mana, Foundry Champion gets +0/+1 until end of turn.
Yeah, just a 4/4 is, you know, it's okay. This when you're at 6 mana, it's nothing to write home about. But the fact that you're going to have a lot of creatures, this guy comes in, you could probably maybe do lethal damage at that point in time to your opponent, or you can destroy their biggest creature. On top of that, you can use the white mana to make sure he's an amazing blocker, or just pump everything into all your red mana into him on the attack and make sure that people have to block him, otherwise they die. So it actually does more work than you might think.
Okay, so we go to Fire Main Angel. It's 6 mana for 4/3, flying first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Fire Main Angel is in your graveyard or on a battlefield, if you may gain 1 life.
Yeah. So basically, 6 mana, 4/3 flyer. First strike, really, really nice. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's going to be swinging super hard to block because 4 power is quite high for a flyer. On top of that, as long as it's on the battlefield or in the graveyard, you're going to be gaining 1 life every turn. So unless they exile it after that point, you're going to be gaining consistent life. On top of that, if it does die and you have 10 mana to spare, you can bring him back from your graveyard to the battlefield. You can only do this during your upkeep. But that's fine, that ability is huge once you reach 10 mana. People can't get rid of it anymore. Anyway, that is a super, super solid card. Those are our creatures, so I say we have a look at the enchantments. This deck has 3 enchantments.
The first one is Madcap Scales. You pay 2 mana, and enchanted creature gets +3/+0 and can't be blocked, except by 2 or more creatures.
Yeah, this is a really handy enchantment because you pop it on one of your smaller guys very early in the game. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. And it's really difficult to block because, yeah, they need to block with 2 or more creatures. Especially if you pop this on a flyer, almost unblockable.
Okay, the second one is Scourge of the Nobles. You pay 3 mana, and as long as enchanted creature is red, it gets +1/+1. And if you pay a red or white mana extra, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. As long as enchanted creature is white, it gets +1/+1 and has lifelink.
Yeah, this is a really sweet enchantment to put on your multicolored creatures because basically that creature is going to get +2/+2 lifelink and fire breathing, so that is super sweet.
Okay, so we go to Gleam of Battle. It's 6 mana, and whenever a creature you control attacks, put a 1 counter on it.
Yeah, this is very handy because our creatures are very small, so what we want to have is an enchantment like this so that all our small creatures get bigger and bigger as they attack every turn. Those are the enchantments, and now we can have a look at the artifacts. This deck has 3 artifacts.
The first one is Boros Gluestone. You pay 3 mana, and if you tap it, you get 1 red or 1 white mana.
Yeah, it also has another ability. For 2 mana, we can tap it, sacrifice it, and then draw a card. It's really handy for the beginning of the game to mana ramp and mana fix, and later on in the game it's very handy because, you know, we don't need the mana, then we can sacrifice to maybe get something that we do need.
Okay, Boros Key Rune, 3 mana as well. Tap it and you get 1 red or white mana.
A special ability that this artifact has is that you can also pay 2 mana, and then it turns into a 1/1 soldier with double strike, so it can get you out of a pickle sometimes.
Okay, Chariot of Victory. You pay 3 mana. Equipped creature has first strike, trample, and haste.
Yeah, this card does a lot of work because this deck is very aggressive and it wants to move very fast. It's really nice that for 1 extra mana you can equip it onto a creature that you just cast, give it haste, it can come in with trample, with first strike. It's going to be doing a lot of work. So it's a really nice artifact for this deck. Then we're going to move on to the instants and sorceries.
Coordinated Assault, you only pay 1 mana. Up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn.
Yeah, this is a very handy card because you got a lot of very small guys and you have to be attacking every turn. So to be able to at instant speed give 2 of those guys +1/+0 and first strike allows you to do some really bad damage and kill some of your opponent's creatures. So it's actually really handy.
So we go to Wear and Tear. That's 2 parts. The first one is 2 mana and you destroy target artifact, and the second one is Tear. You only pay 1 mana and you destroy target enchantment.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this card is you can actually pay 3 mana and you can do both halves to destroy somebody's artifact and their enchantment. It's really nasty.
So March of Glory, you pay 2 mana, target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn, and target creature gets +0/+3 until end of turn.
Yeah, you can also just cast it on one creature both sides and give a creature +3/+3, which is nice enough, but there could be some situations where you've got multiple guys, you want to make one of them stronger, the other one tougher. This card does both of those things.
Okay. Double Cleave, it's 2 mana, an instant, and target creature gains double strike until end of turn.
Yeah, double strike is always nice. People are never going to be expecting it, being able to, you could do lethal damage when somebody didn't block a smaller guy. It's also first strike. It's first strike and normal damage, so you can also use it to kill a creature that they're blocking with. Yeah, it does a lot of work, this card.
Okay. Krenko's Command, it's 2 mana, sorcery. Put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield.
Yeah, you want to be using this card very early because with all the battalion you have in this deck, you want to attack with a creature with battalion plus 2 other guys. And with this spell, you get those 2 other guys right off the bat, so it allows you to start triggering your battalion really quickly in the game.
Act of Treason, you pay 3 mana and you gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of very big creatures in this deck, so we got to attack with a lot of small creatures. However, our opponents might have some really, really big fatties. And then what we do with this card, at sorcery speed, we just take their big fatty and then we beat their face in with their own creature, which is a lot of fun. On top of that, sometimes we may have 2 creatures, one of them with battalion, for example, and we could use this card to get a creature from our opponents, and then we do have 3, and then battalion triggers. So it actually it has a lot of uses, this card.
Fire at Will, 3 mana. And Fire at Will deals 3 damage divided as you choose among any number of target attacking or blocking creatures.
Yeah, this is very handy to just usually just use this card waiting for somebody to attack you, and then you just deal 3 damage divided among the creatures that your opponent used to attack you, and you can usually just destroy 1 or even multiple smaller guys.
Intimidation Bolt, this one is 3 mana. Intimidation Bolt deals 3 damage to target creature. Other creatures can't attack this turn.
Yeah, you want to be using this in your opponent's turn, so when before your opponent declares attackers, you're going to be destroying one of their creatures with toughness 3 or less, and on top of that, they can't really attack you with any of the other guys, so that saves you for one turn.
War Leader's Helix, this one is 4 mana. War Leader's Helix deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life.
Yeah, so not only can you use this to do an 8-point life point swing, you can also use it to destroy a big guy of your opponent's, and on top of that, it gives you a little bit of life so you can get back in the game. So it's a really nice instant. Let's have a look at the lands.
We divided the lands in 9 plains, 9 mountains, and 4 guild gates.
Yeah, this is actually just to get a very even distribution of our white and our red mana, and it's very similar to all the other decks within this series. Let's move on to the conclusion.
So this deck is really cool. It's fast, it's aggressive, and creatures get stronger as they attack together.
Yeah, it's exactly the Boros mentality. What you want to do is you want to come down, you got very little creatures, but you got a lot of them, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage very quickly, very aggressively. On top of that, you got a lot of spells which do direct damage, and you got flying creatures, you got hasted creatures. You can play this super aggressively, and that is a lot of fun. On top of that, it's also pretty affordable.
That's right, it's only $11.17.
Yeah, what we're going to ask you to do right now is to press on that subscribe button, because it allows us to make more videos and lets us know that we're doing a good job, and it also gives us the opportunity to make more different kinds of Magic related videos. So if you just press on that subscribe button, then we can get on that. Well, I guess that's it. So thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Marianne.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.